So, this is Team Fortress 2, or rather, it's the weird side PvE co-op game mode where you fight against robots. You don't need to know a lot about this game mode in order to watch this video. It's very self-explanatory as to how things work. I guess the only base level knowledge you need is that the robots are trying to go forward and that we have to stop them from going forward. So don't worry, you'll pick up on things pretty quickly as the video goes on. And here I make sure I'm still recording because I want to make sure I'm recording. And you get to see my desktop, which is really cute, very minimal. I like my desktop quite a lot. Let me know if you do too. And you might notice that I'm playing Spy in this game mode. And that is very rare. You do not see a lot of Spy players in MvM. And there's quite a few reasons for that, I think. First of all, he's very unique. He is the single most unique class in this game mode, I think. He relies a lot on positioning and movement rather than like pure shooting skill. And he's also very complicated. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you could mess up pretty bad. Like it's really hard to be baseline effective with Spy. That being said, he is not the most off-pick class in this game mode right now. I don't know if you saw that earlier with a guy charging up with a sword, but Demo Knight is a much more niche pick than Spy. So here I thought I was being the cool one, but evidently not. It's pretty funny, I think. Now, early game Spy is pretty weak. You are basically relegated to just the money collector because you can't do your cool stuff yet. You need upgrades to do that, and I don't have enough money to buy them yet. So the first few waves might be a little boring. I will just get a pick here and there with my little knife and, run around and get the money. It's not too different from Scout, honestly, in these early stages. Scout is also a class that picks up money. He just does it a lot easier, so, that's why most people play Scout instead of Spy for money. We don't have a Scout, so I will be the primary money collector for this mission, which I quite enjoy. I like role compression, I like being the only one to do a certain thing, because I like to think I'm pretty good at it. We'll see how real that is the more this video goes on, but I like to think I'm good. And there we saw the Demo Knight whiff a swing against a few soldiers. I like that guy a lot. What a brave fellow. This is Bone Shaker. It is the second easiest mission in this tour. There are 3 missions. This one is the second easiest, I believe. That's why I'm pretty comfortable playing Spy, and I'm really happy that someone's playing Demo Knight. It's really not a big deal on this mission. It's really fun. I think Bone Shaker's probably might be my favorite out of all the missions, just because it's a really nice balance of difficulty and length, and it's just a really relaxing, enjoyable time. Things are getting a little dicey here, and the big thing about Spy's positioning really appears here, where I could just run forward to pick up all the money, but the robots will be shooting at my teammates, and I can get myself in some pretty bad situations. And you can see here, I nearly eat it, but I get out with the Dead Ringer, which is that watch. So yeah, I could just run forward because none of the robots know that I'm a guy, I'm a Spy, so they think I'm a robot. But because the robots still shoot at my teammates, like, I gotta make sure I'm not standing in front of them, because they can shoot at the teammates and then by extension hit me, and that is how most Spy players die. And it's actually really hard to learn that skill of not standing in the wrong spot at the wrong time. I miss a stab, but that's not my best work. But listen, I only I miss it again. I only play this game at like 55% capacity. I like to play this game with friends, and I like to talk about whatever. It's a very therapeutic, relaxing time when you get the right game. I'll talk more about that later, I think. We'll see. But me and my helper, we're having a good time while playing, talking about Minecraft or whatever. Girls. Who do you like from school? I like Jennifer. So here the wave is finished, and you can see we got a credit rating of A+, which gives us $100 extra. Now, if you collect all of the money, you get $100 extra. If you collect 95% or more, then you get $50, and if you collect below that, then you get 0. Here are my upgrades. Now, you may have saw there, I have movement speed maxed out first. That is because, you know, Spy is all about moving and positioning and getting the money, and movement speed is like so essential. And the fact that most players don't even know that tab where you can upgrade your body exists, like that's why a lot of players don't like to play Spy, because they don't even know about movement speed upgrades. I also have attack speed and armor penetration on my knife. Two very vital upgrades for Spy. Attack speed is so I can swing faster, which makes sense, but armor penetration is what enables you to do your other primary role, which is killing giants. Armor penetration turns your knife from like a 20 damage, whatever, I don't know how much it is, 65, I have no clue, against giants into like 950 damage. And giants tend to have upwards of like, you know, thousands of health, like 4,000, 5,000 sometimes. So, at least I think that's right. So, armor penetration is another very vital upgrade. I really like playing Spy because at some points you just get to spectate. You just get to look around and see what's happening with the team. It's kind of nice to just be an observer. It's, I don't know, it's nice. There a tank has spawned. I will talk more about tanks later. Right now, I am playing a class that cannot do anything to the tank, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Everyone else is just running on it because it's scary, you know, you don't want to get to the end, because if it gets to the end, you lose. Spy is the giant killer, but not so much here. I'm still only on wave 2, so I don't have all my necessary upgrades to like take out these giants. I can still do some 5s. I can still do some damage, but not a lot. You're very vulnerable here, especially because, you know, normally Spy, you stab, and then they're dead, so you don't have to worry about immediately dying afterwards. But here, you know, it takes quite a few more stabs than usual to kill the fellas. It also doesn't help that these giants are surrounded by a lot of robots. Spy really excels at like one-on-one picking, where it's just one guy and you can just kill him instantly. Here I get body blocked from the snipers. I almost, like, that could have killed me really easily. Those snipers deal 50 damage a shot, so if I kept bumping into them for long enough, they would have just killed me. Here we see our entire team is kind of being wiped out, but, whatever. Thankfully, the Sentry Buster, which busts sentries, can also destroy robots, and it destroyed quite a few there, so I'm very happy about that. Because of what happened earlier, the robots are kind of pushing past. I do get wiped by the giant heavy. God bless that Demo Knight for going in like that. What a brave fellow. I respect the hell out of him. Just charging in like that. Like he's in 300 or something. Oh, that's great. The tank is pretty close to hatch, but I know they'll be fine. This giant here, it would be nice to just be able to pick him off, but he's surrounded by a lot of scouts, and that makes it really difficult. One even climbs down just to shoot me. So robots, as soon as they know you're a spy, they will, like, go to hell and back to go after you. It's, you're very prioritized on their kill list, which, makes Spy even harder than usual. But, it works out. Thank God the giants are dead, and things have relatively calmed down. I see here that they didn't pick up the tank money. The tank drops a lot of money, and a lot of players tend not to pick it up. So, you know, I definitely have to double check and make sure we don't lose out on, like, a lot of money. There's $4 somewhere. I'm worried about where it is, but thankfully I spot it and just swipe it. A lot of players don't worry about money. They're like, the money collector will get it. So they'll kill something off in a corner and then be like, I'll leave that for the guy. It'll be funny. Here, someone is about to deploy the bomb. That's what that big red flashing symbol on the bottom means, and that really scares me. So I come here to sap him, to stall the robot. The sapper is an interesting tool. It's not really that useful for a few reasons. It costs roughly about $1,000 to upgrade it to max. And all it does is pause the robots for a few seconds, which can be really useful, but not for that price range. If you sap giants and stuff, it'll also make them turn around and look at you quicker than usual, so you really don't want to upgrade your sapper. It does not help at all with your primary roles of money collecting and giant killing. It's useful if you have spare cash, but that's very rare to have spare cash. So I just wouldn't recommend it ever. So now I have my knife maxed out, which is fantastic, because now I can finally have a lot of fun playing Spy. I am now able to just see a giant and click M1 on him a few times, and then he'll die. I'm really happy about that. In this wave, there are 10 Super Scouts. I will talk more about them later, but they can be really scary. You can see on the top there all the robots that are coming in the wave. The 10 above the giant scout symbol, which is the foot. In fact, that's red. That means 10 giant scouts. And that's, you'll see what their whole shtick is later. As you can see there, he ran really fast, but the heavy was smart enough to body block him. You can just get in his way and stop him from progressing forward. And considering the whole point of the game mode is to stop them from progressing forward, the fact that one runs really, really fast is pretty frightening. In fact, I would go as far as to say that it's possible that Super Scouts are like the #1 like run killer in TF2 MvM of like all lobbies. It's very quite a uniquely challenging robot to deal with if you don't know what you're doing, which a lot of players don't. You do basically one-shot Super Scouts as Spy because they don't have a lot of health and your knife does a lot of damage. So I think you leave them on like 20 health or something once you stab them once. So you pretty much one-shot them, which is another reason why Spy is pretty useful. I love seeing the Demo Knight. Every time I look at him and he just dies to some random nonsense he's swinging at. It's so funny every time. Oh, I love him. I wish I was that brave to play Demo Knight. Well, I mean, I'm playing Spy. I'm not much better, but, you know. I managed to get the backstab on the heavy, but not the demo, which is a shame. And here, you can see that I get spotted by the heavies, and I use my Dead Ringer to go invisible, which normally makes it so that the robots don't look at you anymore. But for some reason, for some unknown reason, heavies will like track you longer when you're dead compared to most robots. They will keep shooting at you even though you're supposed to be dead, and it's really inconvenient as a Spy. You have to like specifically worry about heavies being able to kill you through your Dead Ringer, especially giant heavies. That's a very common fear and worry. So you can't like purely rely on your Dead Ringer to fix everything. There, you can see what I'm talking about, where I was in kind of a bad position, and because the robots were shooting at my teammates, they hit me inadvertently. I didn't die, thankfully, but, you know, you still don't want to waste your Dead Ringer active, because that bar in the bottom right, my Feign, that is what determines my, that's the charge meter for my Dead Ringer, and I like to keep that full at all times. There's no way to make it go up quicker. There used to be, but they nerfed it a while ago, and you know, it makes the game more engaging, I think. You know, it's less brain dead, because it used to be you just Dead Ring and then go to the ammo pack and then, you know, repeat. But now you have to, like, you know, you wanna cherish it. You wanna feel good. Here I missed the stab on the Super Scout. The Sapper, I will say, is extremely useful for Super Scouts. It does cut their speed by like over half, so it is the one instance where I'd be like, yeah, you should use your Sapper. It does make them turn around and look at you, but at the same time, you know, they're probably just gonna run past you anyway if you're in that position. It's a good backup. Here I get fire resistance because there are 70 pyros in this mission, and I also get some jump height for fun. I just like jump height a lot, it feels nice. And then I also get some recall to spawn canteens, which you do not see those often. If you're getting canteens, you're getting crit, you're getting uber charge, you're getting building upgrade, you're not getting even ammo canteens. You are not getting teleport spawn canteens. They cost 10 credits, which is pennies. The only reason I got it is because I missed some money last wave, and you know, I might as well get them. You know, it's fine. They're so cheap anyway. You know, I already missed out on like getting an upgrade. I was below that threshold anyway, so I'm like, I might as well. And it can get you out of a sticky situation. They are severely underutilized canteens. They're not bad. I personally don't enjoy using crit canteens, or canteens in general. I feel like they make the game a little bit too easy, but teleport spawn canteens are just so funny that, you know, I decided to abandon my rule of no canteens and just get them anyway. Now, things are very dangerous here, because if you get caught on fire as Spy, every single robot is going to know that you are a Spy. So, you really don't want to, you really want to be careful around Pyros. Something that makes it more difficult is the fact that the Demo Knight is also running up really close to the robots, which makes them like, you know, fire more, and which makes them easier for them to hit me. So that's some bad synergy there, but it's not a big deal. It works out. I can play around it. You may have also noticed that when I use the Dead Ringer, it also prevents me from, it puts me out from being on fire. It gives me like big fire resistance. The Dead Ringer, when you activate it, gives you a lot of damage resistance, which makes it even more of a must-have than usual. It's so convenient to get you out of some sticky situations. God bless the Heavy there. He was a trooper, just standing there taking it like a champ. This Heavy, man, he's a real G. He's a real tank, you know what I mean? He's been playing really nice. I quite enjoy him. Here, things have kind of quieted down, because you're supposed to be focusing on the tank, but our team is upgraded enough now where we don't have to really worry about it. Here, because I have nothing else to do, all I decide to do is I try to body block the scouts, which is a little helpful technique you can do. There. I saved the Heavy from a Spy, and then he's like, "Oh, thanks, bro." I don't know, it was really cute. There's a lot of cute interactions with players at MvM. It's like, "Oh, I saved him." He's like, "Oh, thanks, bro." It's like, I don't know. It's so friendly. It's nice. It's nice. Okay, it's just a small little thing. Here is an engineer bot. I stab him and get rid of him pretty quickly. We'll talk more about them later. I just realized that Heavy's name is Weeb Whacker. I don't know. I wonder how he'd feel about me with my anime profile picture. I'm sure he'd be cool. You know, I don't mind. I get it, you know. Here I do more body blocking, even more effective body blocking, because I stopped them earlier. Those scouts are temporarily invincible because they have bonk, so it's even better to body block them so they don't get too far. Here, you can get stabbed by those Spies and they can insta-kill you, which is why I was really worried about that. Especially with this round coming up. All these soldiers basically one-shot your team, so I wanted to be available here just in case things got dicey, and they obviously really do. I sapped the Super Scout for good measure because, you know, I really don't want that thing getting pads, especially at this point in the wave where we're like basically finished. That would have been disastrous. Here I pretty expertly dodged quite a few rockets, and that's about the end of the wave. There we go. Wave 4. We're already on wave 4. There's $2 missing, and I'm looking desperately for it because, man, this is a experience that there it is, thankfully. But the experience of like missing $2 and frantically looking at the end of the wave for it, it is so stressful. Like, it is a really good measure of your mental fortitude if you can keep calm under that scenario. Thankfully I got it, but I have missed it before. I debate on whether or not to get crit resistance or something else, because there's a really decent chance I'm not even gonna get touched by the crit bowman in this wave. So I'm not sure if I should get crit or if I should get, like, you know, blast or jump height or something. The top there with the blue over the arrows, that means crit bowman. Crits are blue and the arrows are bowman. I ended up getting blast resistance, I believe. I was looking up and not down, so I'm not sure. Here we see the sprays, and this is my friend, my buddy who helped me out. He's helping me out with this mission because I'm gonna be honest, MvM is really hard when you don't have like friends who know how to play the game. It's really fun when you do, but when you don't, it is miserable. Solo queue is so miserable. I was gonna give this guy a shout out by like name, but he wouldn't fess up. He wouldn't pay. It's like 25 Brandon bucks. It's not even real money. You could have just spent it. It's not even real money. 25 Brandon bucks. You had enough. I know you had enough. Like, I just wanted to shout you out, but you didn't want to. Josh and Marina paid 25 Brandon bucks for their shout out in the Marina in the FNAF 2 video. Oh, but yeah, I'm too good. I'm too good to. Oh, I'm gonna spend. Oh, that's you. God. Snake in the grass. It's like, oh, you better watch out for that one. I won't pay 25 Brandon bucks. Here, a medic gets knocked away from all of its teammates, and you'll see in a second, I believe, that I get Ubered. That is very rare. Normally, that does not happen. So it's pretty cool that it happened there. That can only happen when they get knocked away from their heal partner. Getting Ubered as a spy feels really nice. It's pretty useless, but at the same time, feels really nice. Spy, I can, you know, some robots are getting away, and it's really easy for me to pick them off. That's one of Spy's strengths as well, is being able to pick off robots who are just like, you know, kind of slip past the ranks. Here, I really get to shine because my knife is all upgraded, so I just stab him a few times. I do get in trouble, so I teleport away, which was probably not necessary, but it's fun. I get a speed boost. It's all right. I was also afraid because, like I said, heavies do trek onto you longer than most other classes. So, you know, I was worried, you know, I don't want to die. Recall is way cheaper and faster than, like, just dying and having to wait to respawn. It may not look like I'm doing much, but, like, each stab does about 1,000 damage. And considering, yeah, 938. And considering how much health the giant heavies have, I think it's 5,000? I could be wrong. But considering how much they have, like, it's any, you know, that's a substantial amount to chip away from them. Here, you know, here's all the crit bowmen, and it's really scary. These guys do a lot of damage. I ignore them to pick off the Uber medics because that is a very important thing to do. The Uber medics on giants is really scary because that is 6 seconds of invincibility where you pretty much cannot stop them from going forward. Unless you have like air blast and like an Uber canteen or something, but for the most part, it's really scary. Another cool thing about Spy is that most of my team up front is dead, but I'm still here. It's a really solitary role. Spy is. You're pretty much playing separate from the entire team, which is you know, it's unique. Even though I have full bullet resistance here, those heavies still do a lot of damage. You can see why resistances are so important. I go back here to get off the to pick off the bomb carriers, but my team has it. They're on their way forward from spawn, so you know it's not bad. Here an engineer just walks right into me. I probably shouldn't have picked him off. I should have went for the giant, but whatever. It all worked out in the end. Here, I get the medic before they can pop. Something, or drop, or no, pop, I got it right. Drop and pop are two, you know, terms. Something interesting about that wave is that the medics, instead of lasting 6 seconds, which like they normally last 6 seconds on every MvM map, in this wave particular, on this mission, they last 8 seconds, so they're even scarier than usual. Here, I'm checking OBS to make sure I'm still recording, which I am, thank God. I even get the Holiday Punch, which is so cool, even. I got the Holiday Punch. Whatever. Now, this is Wave 6, and Wave 6 has a lot of scary things in it. A lot of blue-colored people, a lot of red giant people, 6 giant medics. Now, normally that would be really scary, but Spy is kind of like the counter to giant medics. He's really, really, really good at taking care of them. Here, I'm just, you know, I'm just looking at the scenery. It's so peaceful. You know, I really like how this game looks. It's very, very timeless, I think. I think this game will still be looking good even, you know, 10 years from now. I like how it doesn't go for, like, a realistic look. It's just very stylized. Big Rock is home. I love Big Rock. And here's what I'm talking about. There's a giant heavy and a giant medic, and you can see I just click M1 on them a whole bunch. The thing about giant medics is that they do not turn around when you stab them a whole bunch. They are the only robot, I believe, to not turn around when you stab them, which makes it really easy to get off like 6 stabs in a row. Spy is undoubtedly at his strongest during this wave, which is this is kind of where you'll see. This is probably the most common spot with your this is probably the most common spot. I'm not cutting that out. I'm gonna try again, okay? I'm gonna try again every time. You guys are gonna know when I mess up. Honestly, I'm pretty happy that I didn't mess up like that up until now, because normally when I mess up, I restart. I thought the heavy was gonna crush there, but as I was saying, Spy is undoubtedly at his best in this wave, and you'll often see people refund their upgrades just to go Spy in this wave. Refunding upgrades is a feature where all the money you put into a class, you can just get it back and then put it into a different class, which I personally don't like doing. I feel like it makes the game a bit too easy. Like, because of that mechanic, there's really no reason to play Spy early game, but I like playing Spy early game. I like playing Spy, and I like it when the game's a bit challenging. So I tend not to use refund upgrades. The idea of this wave is that you know you have to deal with the giants, and then like the scouts come along as like fodder to like carry the bomb or something. But because Spy is so good, like you just kill the giants instantly, and then you just have to wait for the scouts to show up. So there's quite a lot of waiting. I should probably explain what the medics actually do besides healing. So if you get the medics to the giant medics to a certain threshold of health, they will pop their Uber. And if they pop their Uber, they essentially make themselves and the giant they're attached to invincible for like 6 seconds. Basically invincible. You can one-shot them, but it's super rare. You need like a demo with Crit Canteens to do it. And that's why it's really scary to have them, because not only does he make them invincible, he also brings both the robots to full health. The demo man. He's still going out. I love him. He's so funny. So that's why it's really important to take out medics, because they can like single-handedly just walk through an entire map with you know, without dying, which is, you know, scary. It's funny here because they expect you to take a long time to they expect you to take a long time to kill the robots that are coming out on this wave. So that's why there's such a long pause between the next like giants coming out. Like, it's so long that I could just like fool around, die, come back, and still have to wait for the giants to come out. It's pretty funny. It is pretty easy to hit the medics when they're attached to giant heavies, but not so much when they're attached to giant soldiers. Soldiers can do a lot of burst damage and can knock you away really quickly, so it's actually very possible for me to screw up and die like I just did there without getting the medic. And if that happens, that can really make this wave a lot harder than it needs to be, but thankfully I think I've done this enough times where I don't really have to worry too much about it. Thankfully, also, there is long enough a pause where I can afford to die and still come back and pick off the medic if need be. It's also really funny, too. You saw me die earlier. I have full crit and blast resistance, and the soldier still killed me. It does so much damage. I think crit and blast resistance is, like, only... it's useful, don't get me wrong, but... it does not by any means like nullify the giant crit soldiers. Here is another part where I do really well because it's all individual pairs of robots, of medics and heavies. So I can just, you know, go up and stab and then be done with it. Not a lot of classes can do that. So, you know, it's nice to show off my strengths. You know, the wave is pretty much free at this point. There's not much to talk about. I guess what I will talk about while we're kind of, you know, just going through this last little charade here is there is a class called Sniper, and he kind of makes this entire game like free, like not even a challenge. He makes the game really boring. So in order to find good matches, I had to get matches where there wasn't someone playing sniper, and there wasn't someone with like 200 tours in the game, because it's really hard to find good, fun, challenging games in MvM, because the game mode has been like so solved that like everyone knows what to do, and it just makes it really boring. So I'm glad I found this game really quickly with you know, a bunch of people who are just here to like play the game normally. This part's really funny here because a bunch of pyros come out, and I can't really do much to them because they're all grouped up and bunched up. But this part is always so funny to me. I don't know. I just love how they're just like, all right, you got past all that. Here, have like 30 pyros and medics. Okay, have fun with that, asshole. It is quite nice. Wave 7 is the next wave, and ironically enough, it's actually much easier than Wave 6. Everyone's so upgraded at this point that it's not really a threat at all. It does have 3 tanks, but you'll see why that's not a threat in a bit. I do finally get the Sapper upgrade because there's really not much else to get. Like I said before, it's not terrible, it's just too expensive to even like bother with. So, you know, just waiting for the round to start, and I can see there that there's a cute little sentry gun next to the big sentry gun. I really like the disposable sentry gun, maybe a bit too much, but it's just so adorable. I love seeing the little sentry gun next to the big sentry gun. It's like, oh look, it's the little brother and the big brother. Here we can see the pyro, and he's going wild with that axe. I love this pyro so much. You can't check people's upgrades, but I just know that this guy has like attack speed maxed out on that axe, which is so funny. Oh, I love this pyro. That is such a suboptimal play, and it's even doubly funnier for a reason you'll see in a bit. So the tank comes out, and the pyro's just swinging at the tank, and he's using quick candies. It's so suboptimal, but it's so funny. And then the demo man starts swinging, and like, you know, I want to be a part of this club, so I just start swinging too. Why not? You know, we're all having fun. We're all going crazy. It's so funny. I see the heavy get squished there. I knew he was gonna get squished. Someone always dies right there when the tank comes out because they don't know that spot can kill you. So this has been a really funny moment. The funny thing about that axe there that he's using is that its upside is that it catches people on fire, which does nothing to tanks, but its downside is that it does less damage. So he is just using a straight downgrade for tank busting, but he does not care. He's like, oh, it's such a cool axe, I'm gonna use it, I'm gonna max out the swing speed on it. Even though he could just be using his flamethrower and it would be better. Like, I don't care. I think that's so cute and funny. I love that pyro. I hope he never changes. I know you'd probably get a lot of like people in this game mode who'd be like, oh, that's suboptimal, I'm gonna kick you from the game and locate your ISP address and I'm gonna put a hit on you on the dark web. But I like him a lot. I think he's silly. So I'll let the teammates handle the tank, and here I can just, you know, pick off these guys one by one. It's the same deal with the Uber heavies from before. It's, you know, it's basically just individual pairs. I can go stab. Unfortunately, the heavy is popping them, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, the wave is so free that, you know, we can mess up a lot and not really lose at all. Now, generally for the tanks, you have a dedicated tank buster, which normally would be the pyro, but because he's using the funny fire axe, we don't really have one, so a lot of our team just had to go kill it, which is fine. Again, this wave's like so easy at this point, it doesn't really matter. There's also a lot of noise at this point in the game because there's just so many robots stomping around and shooting and doing everything. But I don't know, I find it kind of relaxing, you know? I'm like, oh, there's the sounds of my childhood. The robots stomping, and the metal against the ground, and, you know, the firing and the clacking. I don't know, I like it a lot. I like the sounds in MvM quite a bit. Yeah, as you can see at this point, not even the Demonite is dying just because he's so stacked. It doesn't really matter. I do almost die there, even though I have full resistances. Look at this. Look how much stuff is being shot at our team, and it doesn't even matter at all because we just have so much damage and resistances. It's, you know, late game MvM is really easy, but kind of soothing in a sense. You do just click M1 at the enemies. At this point, it is just heavies and a tank, so really not much to worry about. Really, just things are finally calming down. I am staying up here just, you know, to get rid of the last of the robots. Here, I'm like, please stab the pyro, but the pyro turns around and catches a spy on fire. It would have been so funny if he stabbed the pyro. I would have taunted with my laugh taunt and laughed at his dead body. Shoutouts to that pyro. I still really like that pyro, don't get me wrong. But I would have laughed a lot. Look at him go! He's so funny. He's so cool. Oh, it's great. It's nice. That's on the bingo card. That's on the bingo card. I really can't do anything to the tank, so I'm just having fun. And this is basically the last wave. Wave 8 is so free. You know, I really like Bone Shaker. How do you feel about Bone Shaker? I really like Bone Shaker. I think it has a really nice mixture of like robots to fight against, really good difficulty. You know, it's really the map is amazing. I love Big Rock. You can play any class on it and be effective, really. I think Bone Shaker might be my favorite. You know, so that's why I started out strong. I'm playing my favorite class, Spy, on my favorite map, Big Rock on my favorite mission, Bone Shaker. So, yeah, I'm having a good time. I have so much money at this point because I've collected so much money because I'm so good that I actually upgrade my gun, which doesn't do anything really. You may have seen me use my gun a little bit, but that's just because when I shoot people with this pistol in particular, revolver, sorry. Minecart, look at that go. When I shoot people with my revolver, with this revolver in particular, it gives me back some of my Dead Ringer charge, so that's the only reason to shoot people. There, you may have saw that when the guy left the teleporter, he left behind a little piece of bread. That's a fun Easter egg from years ago. I'm surprised it's still in the game because it's been so long since the Love and War update, which was all about bread for some reason. Very, very interesting. You can see that there's only one robot in this wave, and this guy is really easy to cheese. If we wanted to, we could just have a guy charge me with go medic and uber charge me, and like I can just stab him until he dies. But you know, we decided against it because that's not really that fun. It's kind of boring just to see him melt in 2 seconds. Like it's cool the first time, but you know, the 40th, not really. And this guy in particular is really weak to Spy because his whole gimmick is that he has gloves that make him resistant to incoming damage from like range, but he's more vulnerable to melee damage. So, you know, Spy does pretty good here. He does really good here even. And here he comes. And I stab him a few times, and he immediately just turns around and slaps my ass. He does one-shot pretty much everybody, but I took a decent chunk of his health, so I'm not, you know, I'm not too upset. You can avoid getting one-tapped by him by just, you know, running away quick enough, but I'm not playing that hard at this point. You know, I just, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. I don't really care too much. There are also a lot of spies and snipers as supports, which is, you know, pretty funny. I sap him for some reason just to slow him down, and you can see I pay the price, because I just, man, what an odd stab. I don't know. Something very interesting is that you can see I'm scrolling through people's like stuff in the bottom right corner. When you're spectating, you can do that, and that is the only way to see people's upgrades in this game mode, I believe. You used to be able to see them all the time, but then, like, you know, a bunch of stuff happened, so they disabled the ability to see other people's upgrades, which is a bit of a shame. I always liked seeing what funny stuff other people would do with their upgrades. It was really, really cute to see someone get, like, full health regeneration or something, but oh well. I'm like, oh wow, our whole team is here. Our 2 pyros and the spy who's also me. Let's go get them, team. Come on, let's go forward and get the guys. Let's go. Oh man, I love playing pretend. I do get the final stab on him because I have a, you know, very big ego. I wanted to get the kill. And here are a few of the drops. You may notice that you don't really get anything useful for winning MvM, at least man up. It's really just like a weapon that you can buy for 5 cents, or like, you know, a bot killer that you can get for like 40 cents. You really don't want to play this game mode for the rewards. I just like playing this game mode for the game mode. Yeah, there's like a 1% chance I get something worth like $80, but you know, I just like playing. I just like playing this game mode, and if I get a reward, that's cool, you know? It's just neat. I really enjoy playing this tour. I don't mind if I don't get rewarded for like 60 tours in a row. That's just 60 tours of more fun. So that's it for this mission. And let's move on to Disintegration. So Disintegration is probably the easiest mission out of the 3, but it's also unique in that it's the only one on Decoy, which is a pretty interesting map for a few reasons, but it also gives you very little money to work with at the start. You only start with $400, which isn't really enough for much, honestly. Most classes you can only get 1, maybe 2 upgrades if you're lucky. But you know, I know how to play around it, and I'm playing Engineer for a few reasons. Engineer is also a very unique class, but he's very support-oriented most of the time. The main reasons why you want an Engineer is because of the teleporter to get to the front lines faster, the dispenser to get ammo, and the sentry gun to pick off any robots that might get past the front lines. But on Decoy, on this map, on this mission in particular, Engineer is a lot more active and important than on like any other map or tour or tier. The main reason for that being that because of the type of robots that appear, they get countered by Engineer pretty hard. The fact that Engineer can be effective with very little money investment, and the fact that he's just so darn handsome just make him really good for this mission. So I think that's why I'm playing Engineer here. We do have 2 Engineers, which is whatever. It's kind of funny, honestly. I don't mind having duplicate classes most of the time, especially in this case where we're just two eggheads chilling out, you know. Here he put his sentry gun next to my dispenser, which is actually a really bad idea. So I moved my dispenser back for reasons you'll see later, probably. You see here, this is a tech that I'm going to be doing a lot, which is sentry jumping. If you use the Wrangler to manually aim your sentry gun at your feet and fire a rocket, you can jump really high in the air, and that's really useful for just moving around and getting your buildings across really fast, and you'll see me do it quite a bit. I also just noticed that we also have 2 scouts, which is a lot worse than having 2 engineers, but it's not a big deal. This mission is so easy that I don't mind. Maybe it's actually a new meta, you know? Maybe it's secretly really good. 2 scouts means 2 times the money. Of course it's going to be good. Thankfully, this wave is just 100 punching boys, so it doesn't matter at all, really. There are some engineers for support, which might be some trouble, but we'll see. You can see there on the wall, it was also in the last map I used these, but those are sprays, where you can upload your own custom decals to put on walls of the game. They used to be enabled on all Valve servers, but then they got rid of them because obviously people would use them to post unscrupulous things that I would never post myself, but you know. But I miss them so much. The only way you can see sprays is if you go into community servers, or if it's a spray you've already seen in a community server, then you can see it in Valve servers too. I just miss them a lot. I like them quite a bit. I like seeing spray walls where everyone just puts their spray in a wall and you get to look at everyone's unique tastes and personality and individuality. It was neat. You can still get them every now and then on community servers, but for the most part, spray walls and sprays are pretty dead, which is a shame. You can see how intensive Engineer is, how really focused and dedicated you got to be to play this class. This is why I didn't want to play him on any map but Decoy, because although it's easy now, it will get pretty crazy later. But for the most part, on like any other map, that is what you would be doing for most of the time. You know, just standing there, you know, just looking around. maybe hold M1 on the tank for a bit. Here is the main mechanic unique to Engineer, which is Sentry Busters. You may see in the top there's a little Sentry Buster icon, and that's what they look like right there. And their sole purpose is to destroy your sentries. Now, I think the intended method to deal with them is to shoot them until they blow up themselves, but you can just move your sentry gun away from them right before they blow up, completely nullifying their existence. It's a bit of a shame. I guess it does keep you on your toes. You do have to look out for your sentry gun every now and then, but it doesn't really matter that much. Because we have 2 engineers, we will be seeing more sentry busters more frequently. The more engineers you have, the more sentry busters that appear, and the quicker they appear. So that's at least that's a bit more challenge than usual, which is nice. Here I'm using the Rescue Ranger. You can see its main thing is that you can heal your gun from a distance, and you can also pick it up from a distance, which is insanely useful. Engineer's other primaries, which are like his shotguns, don't really do much in most scenarios, so that's why the Rescue Ranger is pretty much a no-brainer. I'm also just using the default wrench, which doesn't really matter. Here, I put my sentry gun down. I get punched in the gut for my insolence, but it's fine. My sentry gun takes care of the rest. Here, you may have noticed first I upgraded dispenser range, which is actually really important. The main thing with engineers, you want to give the team ammo, because ammo is really hard to come by in MvM. The robots don't drop any, and ammo packs are pretty slow to recharge, so dispensers are extremely important. And dispenser range makes it so that the team doesn't really have to huddle around a dispenser. They can just play like near it and never have to worry about ammo, which is super, super nice. I also upgraded sentry firing speed because I'll be doing a lot of sentry firing, and upgrade building health because my building's probably gonna get hit quite a bit. I never really know where to put my teleporter on this map, to be honest. It like always gets destroyed no matter where I put it, so I just put it on the roof because, you know, whatever. It's all good. Up here, I decided to go with the Hatless crew. We have no cosmetics really, so you know, I decided to hang out with them for a bit, and then I go back to my sentry gun, and then I go back so I can have fun. We're all just dancing. We're all just dancing, boys. I really like I really like the pre-wave rituals of like dancing or like hitting around or whatever. By the way, before the wave starts, you may have noticed there were some blue arrows there. Those tell you what path the robots will be taking. It didn't really matter too much on Big Rock earlier, but it matters a lot here for sentry gun placement, because you want to place it in the way of where the robots will be going. So I put it on the left because I saw that the robots were heading to the left. You can also see up there that the medic is using his regular Uber charge. I die. Thankfully, the medic revives me. Thank God. I stood in front of my sentry gun like an idiot. But the medic is using regular base Uber charge, which is actually really rare. Normally, you see medics use the Kritzkrieg, because regular Uber just isn't as useful as double your damage for 8 seconds. But yeah, you know, it's fine. It's decoy, whatever. It's fine. It's okay. I really like low lobby tour games because, or low tour lobby games, because it's always something different and unexpected. When you're with high tours and when you're with people who play the game so much, things become so boring and predictable. Everyone always plays the same thing in the same spots. It's like, it's so efficient that it's boring, which is really quite a shame. Like, you will never see 2 scouts and 2 NGs and like an Uber medic and a direct hit soldier and a guy upgrading the winger in a high tour game. You just won't see it. Here's some super scouts getting past, so I use my building upgrade canteen to upgrade my sentry gun and take him out just in time. You can see how quickly the super scouts got to the bomb hatch. That's why they're so scary. There you can see a sentry gun on the top. That is what engineer bots do. They go in behind you, they build sentry guns, and they build teleporters, and they're really troublesome to deal with on this map. Because there's so many of them, normally you're supposed to have like a dedicated sentry gun engineer killer, but we don't really have that, so, you know, we're just kind of playing it as it goes. It's not a huge deal because all that's left right now is like scouts, but later on you'll see that it'll get a bit troublesome. We do end up missing some money, but it doesn't matter that much. I know you don't get a lot of money in this wave, but really, like, what kind of upgrades do you need, honestly? How greedy do you have to be? Here we all jump down to punch the teleporter because guns are overrated. It's pretty cute, I like that. And then there's like one more lone engineer. Engineers are pretty interesting because before they set up, they can't do anything. They're really useless, but once they're set up, they're really annoying. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Here you see me use the rescue ranger to like, so I don't have to walk all the way back and pick up my sentry gun or destroy and rebuild it. I can't do the same for my dispenser because of where I put it, but it's not a big deal. The main important thing was my sentry gun. Another funny thing about engineers is that they can pick up the bomb. And if they do, they are not programmed to drop the bomb. So if they pick it up, they will never drop it. They will never go to the hatch. So if you get an engineer that picks up the bomb, you've pretty much won. As long as the team knows not to kill that engineer, there is nothing the robots can do to win, which is really funny. I've only seen it happen a few times, but when it does, it's really neat. Here we see the giants coming in. These are the last bits. And I was so tempted to blow up this engineer sentry gun with the sentry buster, but I decided against it because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 3 ghosts visited me and showed me my future if I did, and I didn't like it. Because I don't know why I should have. It would have been so funny. I am shocked that this sentry buster here, that doesn't kill anyone. Neither of these sentry busters kill anyone, and that's shocking because they were blown up right in the middle of everybody, which is pretty cool. Here it's just the tank, and because we're pretty much guaranteed to win, I do intentionally try to kill everyone with my sentry buster. So you can see there, I trigger there, and it doesn't get anyone. But then the other engineer, he wasn't even trying to kill someone, and he killed someone. So I'm a little upset. You can see in the bottom left, the scout used a recall canteen to go back to spawn, which is so funny, because first of all, you can just change classes and change back to immediately go back to spawn, and it doesn't cost any money, but also he's scout. He runs so fast, you don't need to teleport back to spawn. It's so hilarious. I really like that. You'll never see that in, like, this is why I like low tour games a lot. You'll never see that in, like, a, you know, in any high tour game. It's hilarious. Wave 3 can be a little challenging. This is a pretty big DPS check with 32 Fists of Steel heavies. The soldiers are also surprisingly dangerous, and the engineers have Ubers and bowmen on them. So this wave can be a little scary if you don't know what you're doing. Hopefully, I do know what I'm doing. We'll find out, I guess. The scout uses his recall canteen again. Oh, it's so funny. I love that. I wonder why. I wish I could ask him, like, in real life. I'd talk to him and be like, so what's with that, man? He's like, oh, I didn't want to walk back to spawn. Here we do a funny magic trick where we watch this. Where'd he go? He disappeared. Did I teleport him somewhere? Did I transport him to another dimension full of cheese and other goodies? I didn't record our voices with OBS. We were in a Discord call, but I only recorded the game audio. But I believe I did save that as a clip. Yeah, I did. So you might see that in a future video, maybe, depending. Well, we'll see. Here I am a bit late on taking care of the soldiers. It has been a while since I played MvM at this point, so I kind of forgot about them. So a few do slip past, but it's not a huge deal, I assume, right now, probably. Some come from the right and some come from the left. Right now, I'm taking care of the guys from the left. So it's pretty interesting how these robots are, like, specifically programmed to flank you by going on these, like, side paths. There I get sniped by a bowman who, like, hits me from across the map. Thankfully, he doesn't kill me. If it did, that might have been disastrous. And here you can see the engineers really starting to be a problem with their Uber charge and, like, setting up sentry guns right behind us. It makes it so that we're very limited in our movement when they do that. Also, whenever robots come from the teleporter, they're temporarily invincible, which is quite annoying, which is another reason why you really want to take care of engineers whenever you see them. So yeah, we're in a bit of a tricky situation, but things are relatively stable right now. The sentry gun's about to blow up, but thankfully the rescue ranger saves the day, and I can just pick it up, and I don't have to worry about it blowing up. That's why, you know, this loadout is just so good for engineer. That's the thing with MvM, you can use different loadouts, but for the most part, like, it's pretty much solved what loadouts you should use on what class. Like for Spy, I always use the same loadout because it's so good, and for Engineer, I also always use the same loadout because it's so good. This mission has a really, like, this path, there's 3 different paths the robots can take. There's the right, middle, and left up here, and this is a really convenient path. It's like a really nice choke. It's a very long way to go. My dispenser blows up, but it's about the end of the way, so it doesn't matter. It's just a really convenient path. And it you know, it makes the mission a little bit easier than if they were to go through, like, straight through the middle or something. And as you can see, this mission, this entire mission, from wave 1 to, like, wave 3, they really like their punching boys. They really like their punching heavies. I did walk right past some money. I didn't notice that until right now. That is hilarious. I did not know that I walked past that money. Someone got it, I think, but it is quite funny that I missed it myself. Here you can see on wave 4 we have 8 Super Scouts, which is quite frightening. I need to be on point with body blocking, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to specifically check what paths they're going on. You may notice in my upgrades that I don't upgrade sentry firing speed anymore. That's because it's kind of bugged, where one pointed sentry firing speed works. The second one only works if you're using the Wrangler, and then the third one only works if you're using crit canteens, which is super weird. That bug's been in the game since forever, and they've never fixed it. So if you don't know about that bug, it's pretty confusing. Here I see another off-weapon class upgrading Chad, who has just completely maxed out his winger, which is so funny. I love that. Upgrading weapons on Scout is, like, hilarious. It's great. It's really fun to do. It's, I think Scout, like, once you're good enough and you know how to dodge bullets, it's really fun to be a DPS Scout. You know, he can do a surprising amount of damage. Maybe not with the winger, but, you know, it makes a funny sound. So, it's all good. And you may have saw there, we did some funny laughing into dying. If you want some fun TF2 interactions, then just go into a low-tor MvM game. They're all just there to have fun. Maybe do some easier ones, you know, like intermediate instead of advanced, but it's a pretty fun time. I like it. Here you can see on the top of the screen the engineer icon and the ubermedic icon. That means that engineers have spawned in, but I don't really care that much, you know? I'm like, someone else will get it. Spoiler alert, they don't, but at this point in time, I am just caring about the Super Scouts and the tank, but mainly the Super Scouts. It's really funny too. You saw earlier the medic was using his Uber charge to body block the scouts, which was so nice. This medic is, like, surprisingly, like, look at him. He's a real gamer. He knows the body block. Jake 10033. That's some advanced techniques. Not even a lot of new players know. But this guy, he's a thinker. Gotta watch out for him. You can see how effective body blocking with the sentry gun is. The scouts do. They do achieve a certain amount of damage when you're body blocking. They can punch you for quite a bit, but thankfully sentry guns are so tanky, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, the teleporter happens and the Super Scout spawns from behind, and I just he just barely gets past. Sentry gun blows up, and then another Super Scout shows up, and we actually lose. We lose on the easiest wave, which is unfortunate. Not easiest wave, easiest mission. A little sad, but yeah, that just goes to show that, you know, you gotta take care of those engineers. I do actually get the second point of firing speed just so my Wrangler does more damage. Because I think maybe if I had it last wave, I would have been able to kill the Super Scout before I got past, but oh well. You know, live and learn. It's been a while since I live and learn. No, not now. Not now. Has been a while since I played, so, you know, I'm a little rusty. We can also see here that the medic switched to demo, and you hope it's that so he can get the engineers, but we'll see. He does place some stickies in a really nice spot. That is normally where the Super Scouts are, like, that's normally where they stand when they get body blocked by me. So it's pretty nice that he put his sticky bombs there.
Sound off if you're ready.
I see another funny thing happen here. The demo man uses crit canteens, and I see him shoot up there. And that is interesting for one really crucial reason, and that is that robots cannot be damaged while they're up there. They have some invincibility before you can like shoot them, before they need to like move onto the actual map before you can hit them. So those sticky bombs right there, they will not do anything, which I find pretty funny. But hey, you only know from experience, so I don't mind. So here we move on to take two, and you know, things are looking pretty decent once again. We have two sentry guns focusing on these scouts. You know, we have a demo this time. Things should go pretty good. Yeah, it'll be nice. We even have this soldier, and as you'll see now, he's using the buff banner, which makes everyone around him do more damage, and that feels so nice with the Wrangler. The buff banner into Wrangler is such a great combo. It does so much DPS. Damage per second, by the way, that's what that means. I do have to like kind of double vision to like manage both the Super Scouts and the tank, but I can do it. You can see I turned around to make sure the Super Scouts weren't getting past. And I pick up the money to, you know, to have money. There is a Sentry Buster, which can potentially mess up the timing. If that comes along with the Super Scout, then that's like a free pass for the Super Scout, because the Sentry Buster means I have to either move my Sentry or have it get blown up, and then the Super Scout can run past. But thankfully, the timing was just right where I didn't have to worry too much about it. And as you can see, body blocking is going a lot nicer this time compared to last time, because the engineers are presumably been dealt with, I believe. The Scout does get a little far, but not far enough for it to be like a problem at all. The bomb does get far enough, however, where, first of all, I sentry jump up there to get some money that I saw burning up. But the bomb does get far enough now where I pretty much need to move it to the back line. This is what an engineer normally does. He normally puts a sentry gun all the way back here, or like back in general. I uncover my daughter real quick because I don't like seeing her covered by that really ugly, stupid spray for stupid people. But as I was saying, engineer normally hangs out in the back line, which is pretty boring. I don't like doing it too much, but it's kind of necessary. You know, I know when and when not to, you know, go raw dogging. But and I think it pays off. We're pretty much guaranteed to not get like super scouted now. By the way, you may notice I had to rebuild my dispenser, and I didn't use a building upgrade for it. And the main reason for that is because the only purpose of a dispenser is to give ammo and not health, and upgrading it doesn't really give it more... Like, upgrading it doesn't really help with it giving ammo that much. Not enough for it to be worth using an upgrade ammo canteen, or an upgrade building canteen. So you will see me just whack it normally, which is pretty rare. You don't normally see that. We finally get the wave done. You know, I made sure that the back line was all safe. And, yeah, now we're on to wave 5, which is a pretty scary wave. 3 tanks on a really short map with not a lot of money. It can be pretty frightening. I upgrade bullet resistance all the way because there is a lot of sentry guns and scouts and stuff, but I decide to take off the last point to get the disposable sentry, which is such a bad idea. But I love the disposable sentry so much. It's so cute. It's so adorable. Like, how can you hate it? Like, look, I'll put this regular sentry gun down, and then I'll put like my other stuff down. But just watch in a second. In a second. I put this here in a second. Just wait. It's coming. Don't you worry. Look. Look, how can I separate these two? How can I ever not have big bro and little bro together? It's just so adorable. I'm sure this won't come back to bite me in the ass later. I'm positive it won't. okay? I'm almost positive. I'm like 83% positive. By the way, it does cost $500. We do a little funny beat down here, which is cute. You know, the classic, everyone's just punching each other before the wave starts. The scout does fall off and die, which is really sad. I decided to go with him because I can't live without my lover. The soldier jumped along with us because he was our priest, and then the engineer decides to die because he got some bad news on the phone. Apparently his pet died of a broken heart, which is always sad. So this wave is pretty standard, as you can see, like the tanks come out and then a bunch of robots come out. It's just a big raw DPS check, which, you know, it's nice. As soon as that first tank gets destroyed, though, all the scouts come down, and they can deal a surprising amount of damage, which is why I really wanted to get bullet resistance. Thankfully, I also get to hide behind my sentry gun, which is nice, because the sentry gun does take up a lot of real estate for bullets. As you can see, my disposable sentry has already died. It's called a disposable sentry, but I'm actually really quite sad that it's dead. I miss it already. I decided to build another one, and after I do that, what I decide to do here is I see that a sentry buster has spawned, so I move my sentry gun up ahead preemptively so that the sentry buster won't blow up my dispenser and my disposable, and it works out. I can use my rescue ranger to bring it back, and I've actually wasted so much metal on the disposable sentry gun that I've run out of metal in my dispenser, and I have 0 metal right now, which is really funny and really rare. If you don't waste all your money on the stupid disposable sentry that does like 2 damage a second, then maybe you'll have enough metal to pick up your building with the rescue ranger and not die like an idiot. Oh my god, that was such a big throw. But man, it was so cute though. The disposable sentry is so cute. Oh man. Oh, if I didn't do that, they would not have gotten this far. I can assure you, they would not have gotten this far. And I still built it again. Oh my goodness. I'm so addicted to the disposable sentry. I don't know why. It's crazy. I do get blast resistance mid-wave because a bunch of soldiers do spawn in the later half of the wave. And, you know, if you don't have blast resistance, you might die. Here I'm just chilling in the back line because, you know, sentry gun is probably gonna need to make sure no one deposits the bomb or whatever. It's just so boring, though. I don't like doing this kind of engineer playstyle. I like being aggressive and upfront and doing stuff, but it's so necessary, I know. That's why I played engineer in this map in particular, because this is the only map where you can really get away with being super aggressive with engineer on most teams. I'm so bored I even like sentry jump just to see what's happening up front, which is quite sad. Something really funny does happen here in a bit. I greed so hard here. Oh, I greed so hard. I'm like, I want to be part of the fun. I want to do damage. So I put my sentry gun up and I start shooting the robots, which feels really great, you know? I'm like, I'm doing so much damage, guys. Look at me go. And, you know, I feel really good. I'm up here with my friends. I can do anything. Oh, this is so great. I'm so happy. Don't worry, guys. I have my disposable sentry at the bomb hatch. That'll take care of everything. Oh no, someone's there. I miss the sentry jump. And then we eat it because oh man, my bad. My bad, team. My bad. I'm not gonna make you sit through the entire wave again because that was basically the end of the wave. But we do the wave again, I don't buy the disposable sentry gun, and everything works out. Here we have the final boss wave for Decoy, and ironically, it's probably the hardest boss out of all the missions in the tour. There's a few reasons for this. Firstly, the boss here does so much burst damage really quickly. If you get shot by him, if you get hit by him, you're probably gonna die, even if you have max crit and blast resistance. there's very little chance of you living unless you're like a fully overhealed heavy, or you know, you have an Uber canteen or something. Secondly, the supports in this wave, there are engineers and scouts. The scouts aren't a huge deal, but the engineers, they throw an ungodly amount of engineers at you during this wave. And if you don't kill the boss really quickly, or if you give the engineers enough time to set up, there will be sentry guns everywhere in the middle of the map, making it basically uninhabitable, which kind of shortens the already very short bomb track, because that means you can only fight the boss at the start of the map or the end of the map, and not in the middle, which is very challenging for a lot of people. Of course, the boss still is very cheesable. If you just run like 5 heavies and 1 medic, he'll die really, really quickly. But at the same time, I don't want to do that. You know, I want to fight him as he is. I want to fight. I want to be the same people I was when we started. That's just me, though. I get it. You know, you can only fight the same boss so many times before it gets kind of boring. Funnily enough, the old strategy that a lot of high tours used to do, this was like way back in the day, they would have like 1 heavy on the top right and then like 1 heavy on the top left and then like 2 heavies in the bottom middle to like take care of all the engineers. But then eventually people got around to like, oh wait, we can just shoot him real fast until he dies. And then they got rid of all that convoluted nonsense and they just shoot the guy now. They don't even bother with the engineers most of the time. I don't think you see it again this entire mission, but you may have noticed that my character got launched up a little bit. That's because the engineers, when they set up, they have like this aura pushing force field that can, like, you know, toss you around a bit. It's very strange. You don't normally, I wonder why they added that. Maybe to make them just a little bit more inconvenient and challenging. Anyway, here's the boss finally. As you can see, he does take a while to start shooting, but once he shoots, you just eat it, like that pyro did. Even me behind my sentry gun, I still eat it. Our scout eats it. Thankfully, the sentry buster was there to do some, a little bit of damage. But you know, look at this medic though. What a gamer. He has the Mad Milk syringes. He has the cool vinyl hat that you get when you get the soundtrack for the game. I like this guy. This is a brave fellow. Just, you know, he's doing damage. He's taking 5s. Thankfully, we like pretty much barely get the boss right before he goes over to the middle of the map where he would have been screwed. And here's our wards. Now, you see that column in the middle, the squad surplus? I brought my own squad surplus, which gives you like an extra weapon, but it costs like $2, so it's never worth it. I bought my own just to show you what it does, but then when we got into this game, someone else brought one. So we got 2 drops instead of 1, which always makes me think someone got an Australium, because normally there's 2 boxes, that means someone got an Australium. But that is so rare. You never see people use squad surpluses, because they're such a ripoff. But, you know, luckily enough, you got to see a game where we got 2. So, that's pretty neat. Let's move on to the last mission. Here we are at Broken Parts, which is a pretty apt name because this is easily the hardest mission out of the 3. As you can see on the top, for the first wave, we have crit scouts, crit soldiers, crit heavies, giant soldiers, uber medics, and about every support you can imagine. It's a very difficult mission and a very difficult early game, and that's why I'm playing Soldier. So you may have seen that in the past 2 missions, Spy is good at money collecting and giant killing, NG is good at crowd control and support. Well, Soldier's just kind of good at everything. He can deal a lot of single target damage, he can do crowd control, he can provide support with his banners. The only thing he's not really good at is collecting money, but that's, you know, that's pretty small potatoes considering you already have a dedicated money collector. He's even very mobile, as you can see here with the rocket jumping. He's overall just a very fun class to play. If you want to get into MvM, I would highly recommend playing Soldier. You really can't go wrong with him. Here I get to the cave and I see that the dispenser is in a little bit of an unusual spot. That is where you put the dispenser if you have a sniper on your team and you want to feed him ammo so he can kill everything without having to worry about ammo. And unfortunately, we do have a sniper. I was very worried about that sniper on our team. I was so afraid that he was just gonna dominate and kill everything instantly and just, you know, make everything really boring. But thankfully, as you'll see, he's not that good, which is a little mean to say, but you know, I think it's fine. He's having fun. He's trying out new things. I actually asked the NG to move his dispenser up front because I'm using the Beggar's Bazooka, and one of the downsides is that it chews up quite a lot of ammo. But the engineer just tells me to go stand by the dispenser, which is a really bad idea because it's so far back that it like drastically reduces my effectiveness. One of the downsides of the Beggar's Bazooka as well is that the shots have like a degree of randomness to them. They'll be off by like 20 degrees from your crosshair or so in a random angle. So you really want to be close to the robots. It's also not good for the heavy, as you can see, he's all the way back there. Bullets do less damage the further away you are, so listen, he'll be peppering them with fives. Don't you worry, he will be peppering them with fives, which is pretty funny. This wave does start off rather slow, because I don't know why, but the robots take a little bit to come out. And right away, they start off with these crit soldiers. These guys can wipe a team if you don't know how to dodge, or if you don't have a medic with a shield, or if you don't have any resistances, which you most likely won't. Like, no one's dumping, you know, all their money at the start into crit and blast resistance. It just doesn't really happen. And already we have a giant, but it's not a big deal. Unfortunately, as you can see, I am already like constantly running out of ammo, which is why a dispenser would have been really nice. And I even eat it to a soldier, and as you can see, the robots can taunt you when they kill you, which I find really funny. I think that's pretty cute. Teleporter's in a very unusual spot. I never see it in that corner, really. It's a very weird... It's not really that bad, it's just a little suboptimal, you know? It's like in this corner I have to walk to. It's a little strange. Why not just put it right at the door? But, oh well. Some people like to be different. As you may have noticed when I went back to spawn, I actually got some ammo capacity, which is an upgrade you normally don't need to get because engineers have dispensers. Because the sniper is hogging the dispenser, I actually am going to have to spec into ammo, which isn't a huge deal in this mission because you get so much money. And thankfully the Beggar's Bazooka doesn't require that many upgrades to be baseline effective. It's really, as you can see, the strategy with the Beggars is just, you just constantly shoot rockets. There's really no need to reload your clip like a normal rocket launcher. You just tap M1 and then it just fires off a whole bunch of rockets. It's the most consistent rocket launcher, I should say, where it's just constantly shooting out rockets, and there's no downtime really, unless you run out of ammo. It's a little hard to get used to compared to the normal rocket launcher, but it's just without a doubt the best one. So here's a fun part of the wave where they bring out a few Uber pairs and some pyros. Thankfully, they're pretty easy to play around. Like, if you don't have someone who can consistently pop medics, it's pretty okay if you just want to hit them, let them Uber, and then like hide behind a rock for a few seconds. It's not as scary as it looks, is what I'm trying to say. Again, there's another giant there, but thanks to the Mad Milk and Fan of War that the Scout did, he's pretty easy to pick off. Scout, he's really support oriented. I say that as he immediately takes my ammo and I have to run over to the dispenser. Oh my god, you can just run 3 times faster than me, but oh no, let's just take the soldier. It's fine. Whatever, dude, I don't even care. As I was saying, Scout is normally seen in like every game, and the main reasons why a lot of people like to run him is because he has Mad Milk, which when he throws it at enemies, it will coat them in milk, which will heal you whenever you shoot the robots, which is really, really useful. And then also the Fan of War, which marks robots for death, which makes them take more damage when you shoot them. So Scout's really good at support. He's also really good at damage, but it's a bit harder to be effective with him as damage than it is support. So that's why I talked about that. And then I get like backstabbed in current year, which is so embarrassing. Thankfully the medic gets me. This medic, we've had a lot of fun, good, you know, just decent medics all around. You know, people like to play medic, but normally they're pretty bad. They don't revive, you know, they don't use their shields or whatever. But this medic's been kind of a G. It's only been one wave, but you know, I like him. And here you can see Soldier really excel at crowd control. I just look at the scouts in the crowd and they just die, which is great. There's no two-way teleporter, but that's okay. Listen, they can use the exercise. Thankfully, I can just blast jump to the back to spawn. I could also just switch classes and switch back, but I don't want to lose my buff banner charge, which is at full on the bottom right, as you can see. Now, for my upgrades, you see that I only have 1 point there in Rocket Specialist. That is because anything past 1 point is kind of useless. Rocket Specialist, the main thing you want it for is the stun, and the fact that when you hit robots with your rocket, like the splash damage becomes maximum, I believe, if that makes sense. And once you get anything past 1 point, all it does is increase the rocket speed, which isn't really that useful. Here we are at Wave 2, which is, again, very scary. 6 Super Scouts, a Giant Heavy and Giant Medic pair. We have 5 Giant Crit-boosted Soldiers and a tank. This is a rough wave. Again, why I'm playing Soldier, we need someone who's really good at dealing a lot of damage really quickly. Oh man, I love decals. I love sprays, I love having my sign. I hate it when other people cover my spray and I just wanna blast them in real life. Not like sex, but like, anyway. Yeah, decals are really soulful. You know, there's a lot of creative things and a lot of porn, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe you'll find out where it is eventually. This wave actually starts out pretty calm. It's just a bunch of regular non-crit bowmen, which are really just fodder, honestly. I don't think anyone's ever been like wiped to these guys before, which is pretty interesting. And then the tank spawns, and I believe this is my first time actually being on tank this entire game, like being a primary tank buster dealer guy. And you can see how good Soldier is. Like, I'm racking up damage really quickly. I have the buff banner to support everyone around the tank. Soldier's one of the best tank busters, man. He's not as consistent as, like, maybe a Flog Pyro, because you run out of ammo quicker, and you don't have the on-demand crits that the Flog Pyro does, but, you know, you're really close, I think. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you are slightly better, but I haven't done the math. Here you can see that the medic got separated from the heavy. That's because our heavy has an upgrade called Knockback Rage, and what that does is it makes you deal 50% less damage, but it knocks the robots back. It's a pretty smart idea, you know, to knock the medic away from his heal target, but unfortunately the giant medics just run too fast for it to be an effective tactic. There, I get freaking fished, dude. Oh my god. Listen, Super Scouts, their only purpose is to run fast towards the bomb hatch, but they can deal a surprising amount of damage. But thankfully, it doesn't take that long for me to get back to the main fight. And thankfully, as well, the Giant Heavy has the bomb, so the Super Scout can't just run away with it. That would be very frightening if it could. Here, unfortunately, my 2 teammates left me to go on the tank, which makes sense, they're scared. And I have to really be careful with my positioning here. I have to make sure I'm in a spot where I can shoot the Giant Medic, but the Giant Heavy can't shoot me. That's one of those things that really separates the great players from the okay players, is, like, you know, knowing your positioning. Unfortunately, evidently, I'm not that great of a player because I put myself in a position where I get fished once again. Pretty insane stuff. I'm not too worried about the tank at all. Like, I know how much damage I can do in a short amount of time, so I know that there's no way it's going to deploy the bomb at this rate. I am a little worried about that heavy because there's not a lot of cover here, and I don't know how much health he has. For all I know, he could be at full, and it might take a little bit to kill him. Thankfully, our scout, Epic Gamer, was distracting him really hard, running circles around him, so he was shooting at him and not me. Very, very good stuff. Here we have an engineer up there, which is actually very frightening, because if something spawns through that teleporter there that I just destroyed, then they get to skip a lot of the map, which is pretty bad. That, and like I said earlier, when they come out of teleporter, they spawn with invincibility for a few seconds. Even scarier. If it was like a giant or something, that would have been pretty awful. Here, I really don't want to leave my medic behind. I want to go forward because there's quite a few. There's a scary guy up there, but I do end up having to deal with it myself. which is fine. I can. It's just a little. I just wish I had like a little buddy to help me out, you know. Thankfully, Soldier can kill a medic in one shot before it pops its Uber, which is good. That's another very good, strong thing about Soldier. He's not as consistent at it as like a demo or a sniper would be, but he's still pretty good. Thankfully, the medic does come by for the second wave of robots, and oh my god, see, that's why medics often use the crit scree, because I said earlier it was double damage. I actually had that wrong. It is triple your damage. It also removes any damage fall off, which is great. So it doesn't matter how far away you are, those rockets will be doing a hot 270 damage, I believe. I don't know, I don't play Soldier that often. Bomb jump scare, really afraid something's gonna get to the bomb hatch, but thankfully our heavy's here to save the day. No funny shenanigans where we all go forward to shoot the robots. Thankfully this guy knows, like, hey, maybe I should stay back, not like an idiot, and let the robots get past. So shout out to that guy. Good job. Here I realize that there are 3 Super Scouts left. They don't come until like basically the last giant comes out. They really like to stack them towards the end. So I'm really quite worried about what direction they'll be coming from, because I want to make sure, you know, I don't run out of ammo. I want to make sure I'm in the path that they're going, so that they don't just, like, you know, run right past me. Things are getting a little bit scary now. As you can see, all the robots are coming at us from all sides. A lot of rockets coming our way. This is a bit of a nerve-wracking experience. They even have a teleporter set up. That's where that giant blue beam of light is. It's pretty nerve-wracking. That giant soldier does get Ubered. It's not too big of a deal. Thankfully, it does run out before he can get to the bomb. They can deploy the bomb while invincible. That is a possibility. Scout does some epic body blocking. Good job, good job. And here, the Super Scouts should be spawning any second now. And yeah, there they all are. There's all 3 of them, and very scary. If even one of them got past, like, we would have been donezo. One of them almost does. But thankfully, we kill them just in time. Very, very good stuff. And despite how far the Scouts have gotten, Soldier is actually very excellent at countering the Super Scouts, because whenever he hits an enemy with his rocket, they get stunned for like half a second. So as you can imagine, for a class that moves really, really fast, that's pretty good to do. And considering how hectic that wave was and how spread out everyone was, money collection was on point. Great job from the Scout. And here I forego getting any like damage stuff to get some crit and bullet resistance, because man, look at the top of our screen. 45 crit Huntsman. That is pretty scary. And unlike Spy, like earlier when I was playing Spy against crit Huntsmans, this is actually, I'm probably going to get hit by those guys, most likely. So I spend a lot of money into crit and bullet resistance. I love beggars jumping. It's so fun. It's really, really fun. Like, I've gotten pretty good at it just because of how many times I had to go from spawn to the cave in Big Rock. It's just a really good time. Here, I uncover my daughter real quick, because I don't like seeing her covered by that really ugly spray for ugly, dumb people. I love high-fiving my buddies in the pre-round. I don't know. I really like these little cute character interactions you can do before the game starts. It's just real wholesome chungus, if you know what I mean. Here, the dispenser is still in the dispenser spot for sniper, and the heavy still right next to it, which is fine. It's just more DPS for me. My numbers will just be even bigger at the end of the game. There in chat, some guy just said start. Some people get really impatient when you don't ready up immediately. I get it, you maybe got places to be, or maybe maybe you just don't like waiting 100 seconds. I get it. It's just funny to me every time. Here, this wave does start out with a lot of Uber Pyros, which can actually disrupt a lot of teams. It also doesn't help that these Pyros can air blast, which means that they can reflect my rockets into our teammates, which thankfully I don't think anyone dies to it this time, but if they did, that would have been really funny. It's always cool to do friendly fire in this game, because normally you can't. But here I clear out the crowd of bowmen. I don't get hit a single time. So good thing I spent all that money on the crit and bullet resistance, huh? Still haven't gotten hit. Oh, it's such a shame. I'm too good for my own good. I need to be more confident. I should have known that I just wasn't gonna get hit. I almost do quite a few times, but I don't. So 3 giant demos right next to each other. I'm dealing so much damage. My goodness. You may have noticed me checking the scoreboard like pretty regularly this entire game. Whenever I press tab, the scoreboard comes up. And I'm doing that to check all my stats and like how good I'm doing, but I'm also doing it to check. Oh, that's so tragic. I'm also doing it to check. Well, that soft reset my brain. What the hell was that? oh, look! The crit and bullet resistance finally paid off, guys. Oh wow, yeah. Instead of dying to the damage, I died to the knockback. That does not happen often. The point is, I check my damage regularly. I check the scoreboard to see how much damage I'm doing. Damage is like the most important stat. I'm not sure if you saw it, but I'm dealing quite a lot. I like to make sure I'm top damaging because I have a big ego and I like to feel like a big man, you know? Be like, ooh, don't worry guys, I'm getting the robots. Here, I realize I'm basically the only one on tank. I mean, yeah, I have the engineer next to me, but I feel like that sentry gun's not going to last long. There's also a robot getting past, which is pretty scary on the bottom there. You can see the arrow pointing behind me, which is very much not good. I realize that I do have to go get the bomb, because you saw how many of my teammates are struggling to get, like, that one scout. It was unfortunate. This has actually been a pretty rough wave 3. Normally, once you get past like the beginning crit bowman and the pyros, like this wave's normally not that bad, but they're getting really close to the hatch, and these like crit heavies with Uber, that's pretty hard to deal with, especially because we don't have anyone to knock them back. So if we don't take care of this, they could just invincible kill us all, go to the hatch, which I don't want to see. Thankfully, we do knock the medic far away. He's the only one left. Oh, the dream! Oh, I miss. Oh, that hurts so much. That would have been so baller. Oh, man. Oh, well. And this is a really funny wave, because 100 spies. Don't get too intimidated. This wave is actually very, very easy. It's just really funny. 100 spies. It's great. So how this wave works, you'll see in a bit, but I'm gonna spoil it. Good beggars jump. Remember 5 minutes ago when I said how good I am at doing beggars bazooka rocket jumping? Yeah, ignore that. So the deal with this wave is that you have the spies who are coming out, and then along with the spies, you have the super scouts, or not super scouts, the crit scouts. So the idea is that you have to deal with the spies and the scouts at the same time, and then once the spies are all done, then they throw 8 giant heavies with 8 uber medics at you. Which is, you know, it's not as hard as it sounds, honestly. Because the two are separate, it's a lot easier to deal with. Spies aren't that scary in general because you can just stand on the rocks if need be. And at this point you have enough resistances to deal with the scouts, like they're not really a threat at all. So, you know, this is the one wave where standing on this rock is actually very beneficial. So, you know, maybe these guys were just practicing for the spy wave the entire time. Sniper, it seems like, did not get his crit and bullet resistance, which is, you know, good for me. Just means more damage for me. It almost happens again. I almost get knocked back into that ravine again. I would have had to take away my gamer card. Interestingly enough, the sniper is no longer standing on the rock, which means he's pretty liable to get backstabbed right now, but And it's not happening so far. He does have the Razorback, which prevents one backstab, but it's with 100 spies, I don't think one is enough. You know what I mean? Something funny though is I don't like shooting spies because like they look like my teammates. I can never tell if like a spy is like a teammate or not because, you know, they all have that fluoride stare. They're always doing like both of them are each doing like, you know, incomprehensible things. Like I don't like hitting my own team. It's scary. It doesn't do damage, but it feels mean. You know, it feels mean. I don't think I would make it. You know the Thing. Like in Australia, like not Australia, in Antarctica, the Thing movie where the guy can like look like your friends and you have to kill it before it like takes over the world or whatever. I think I would do terrible in that environment because even if I knew someone was the Thing, I think I'd be like, oh, but he's my friend. I don't want to chop his head off. That seems like it'd be very mean. I'd be so terrible in that environment. Although I think if I went to Antarctica and there wasn't the Thing, I think I'd be pretty good. I'm pretty good in those isolated environments. It just looks really comfortable, you know? Very isolating. I remember Big Bang Theory had an episode. This is a weird conversation. I'm sorry. Give me this one. This is a pretty slow wave, so I don't want to talk about anything else. I want to talk about this right now. Big Bang Theory had an episode where the crew went to Antarctica, and it looked really comfortable. Like, it was a very warm, cozy-looking shack, and they all got to, like, watch movies and... You know, they had a lot of blankets. It was very, very cute looking. I wouldn't mind giving that a shot. Now here, the heavies finally come out. As you saw, the spies were like no problem at all. And all we gotta do now is just take care of the heavies. Pretty simple stuff from here on out. For some reason, these medics last 4 seconds longer than normal Uber. Considering most robot medics last 3 seconds shorter than normal, that's pretty crazy if you're not ready for it. It's almost double. I'm pretty sure it's this wave. I'm pretty sure it was this wave and Bone Shaker there was another wave like that where the medics last longer. I could be wrong though. Don't quote me on that. Don't look it up. Don't prove me wrong. Let me live in the ignorant land where I'm right. Here I know there's a bunch of heavies behind the corner, so I go up to face them. Oh my god. Oh man, I'm like that one guy in Tiananmen Square. I just see this unstoppable moving force towards me, and I just stare him down. I'm like, what are you gonna do, buddy? Oh, how embarrassing. I accidentally take the teleporter back to spawn, which isn't a big deal, but it makes me look kind of silly. It diapered me. I got diapered. That's not like a fetish thing. That's a reference to an old video. I realize I don't want to be misconstrued there. That is not one of my fetishes, I promise you. I mean, no offense if it's yours. A little offense. Anyway, we have Wave 5, and as you can see, there are 75 Fisted Steel Heavies and 64 crit soldiers. Another very, very easy wave. It's kind of funny. Waves 1 to 3 were very scary and very difficult. Waves 4 and 5 are kind of like a breeze. There's no real threat at all. You just kind of, you know, just kind of shoot the guys, and you can't really die because you have so many resistances. But don't worry, things won't be that easy for long. There I finally get some firing speed upgrades. That is because firing speed is really not that useful on the Beggar's Bazooka. It doesn't change much. I think it like ups your DPS by like 20% if you get all of the upgrades, but it's not really that necessary. Here we're just doing some more cute, funny character interactions, which is nice, you know? We're always having a good time. So this wave is all it's kind of just a fat DPS check. I don't know if you saw there, but I have my sign, my conscientious objector, and it has a pretty nice picture on it. I like my conscientious objector quite a bit. I had to make it myself, and it's actually very hard to make custom decals for your signs. It's not as easy just uploading a PNG and just having that be on the sign. You have to, like, I don't know, do some editing with some software, and it's just very convoluted to do. And like that's not a preset something someone else made either. I had to make that myself, and I had to find the image, I had to crop it, I had to, you know, go into the program and make that the file that you need to make it to put it onto it to assign. As far as I'm aware, it's the only one that exists in real. It's the only one I could find. So, you know, I'm pretty proud of it. I like it a lot. I think it really lets people know what I'm all about. This wave is actually very fun if you're Spy. I like to play Spy a lot, and this wave is really fun because like all these Fist of Steel guys, they just die instantly to your knife, and you do even more damage because they're Fist of Steel guys. So your damage numbers go up pretty high during this wave. I like it quite a bit. I mean, they go up high no matter who you are, but small potatoes. I don't think I've ever actually seen a team fail this wave. Maybe I've seen them get out of the cave once or twice in like my 300 times playing this mission, but I've never seen someone fail. I don't know what that clip was for. I don't remember. I'll have to look into my files for that. It might have been funny. It might have not been. I've actually switched since this gameplay from Steam to GeForce Shadowplay. Steam, for some reason, does not like my microphone. When I do instant replay clips, it always cuts them out, or it like, you know, or the audio is all messed up, or something like that. So I've switched to GeForce, which has been treating me pretty nice. So if you ever see a video with a clip compilation, keep in mind that some of the clips will be kind of bad for audio. Some of them will be pretty good for audio. So. You know, thinking back, because this is a really slow wave, I don't got a lot to talk about. Big Rock is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of special to me. Big Rock has been with me longer than like most of my friendships. I've played on this map a lot. This like enclosed little cave space. This has been my home for a long time. When I'd come home from school, when I'd come home from work during summer vacation, now, you know, from like 2014 to like now, I've done a lot of like MvM. I've done a lot of Big Rock, and I wonder how much it's changed me as a person. I think MvM is a very transformative experience, not in terms of gameplay, but just because of the people you meet. You know, you meet a lot of very nice, kind, funny people, but then you also meet a lot of super entitled, deranged, kind of like psychopathic individuals. Psychopathic might be a bit much, but just to give you an idea of the severity and difference between what kind of people you might encounter. I think MvM has really taught me just to be a more patient person when it comes to dealing with people. I think a large part of my personality might have been shaped by this game mode. It's strengthened my relationships with my friends. It's made me learn to deal with others. It's made me more cooperative as a person. It's been a real stress reliever. It's been a constant in my life, you know? MvM, at least back in the day, I'm not sure so much nowadays, but it was very consistent for like an enjoyable time. And I don't know, even every now and then I still go back to it. And it's been the same game mode for so long, the same robots, the same missions, but I don't know what it is. It's just something I always come back for more. It's just home. I love the caves, they're so comfy. I enjoy the outside because of how wide it is and you have to like manage both paths. You know, the spawn area where the bomb hatch is so fun to defend because there's 3 entrances. I love Big Rock. There was an MvM event where it was a custom community map, and it was actually a reskin of Big Rock, and I didn't know. And when I got to the map, I realized it was Big Rock, and I got so excited, you know. I went to like the inside the cave, and I was like, oh, it's all different. It's like, it's all lava now, and oh, look, it's Sniper Rock. I was like a child, like, you know, with a, like my childhood bike came to visit me or something. I don't know, I love this game mode. It's so fun. Sorry, I realize my commentary hasn't been so on point these past 2 waves. It's just really hard when the waves are so, you know, by the numbers standard, nothing really happens. I hope you've enjoyed what I've been talking about so far. I hope you've enjoyed this commentary. I hope you don't mind the music either. MvM does not have a lot of music in it, so I've had to add my own. I hope it's not too distracting. I hope it's not too loud. Overall, I hope you've been enjoying. I have. I think it's fun. Here we're on Wave 6, and I don't think I need to tell you that that is a lot of scary stuff on the top there. Just to go over it, we have one crit thing. We have one of every, like, class critted, like, times 32. We have 3 giant crit deflector heavies with giant medics attached. Deflector heavies can actually shoot down your projectiles. We have 3 tanks. We have 8 super scouts and 10 giant soldiers that don't need to reload to shoot their rockets. Pretty scary stuff. Thankfully, at this point in the wave, you will have enough money to have pretty much everything maxed out, but even with that, it's still pretty frightening. This is the one wave where I'm probably the most inconsistent at passing, just because, you know, you have to rely heavily on your team to pick up on the DPS, because I can't be everywhere at once, you know? There will be giants with tanks, you know, there will be, you know, a whole lot of crit soldiers and crit heavies and crit everything. So if I die and my team gets wiped, we're going to be set back quite a bit. This is I remember getting countered pretty hard by this wave when I was back in my low tour days. Normally during this wave, what you would do is you would refund your upgrades and have the scout change to a more DPS oriented class. But we decided not to, just to, you know, keep things consistent. And, you know, I think we don't need to, but we just weren't sure. I think if we lost, we might have, but who knows. Anyway, oh man, here we go. Wave 6. As you can see, they just throw a bunch of nonsense at you. It is a Jackson Pollock painting of just nonsense in front of your eyes. There was really no thought put in, like, hey, let's just throw everything at them. It's pretty frightening. But as you can see, I'm just getting kind of knocked around a bit. I'm pretty good at, like, dodging the stuff, and most of our team is actually standing far enough back where they're not really dying. I think if they were standing up front, they might be dying more, because they don't know how to dodge like I do. But it's working out. Things are going surprisingly smoothly. I know it's only been like 10 seconds, but this is a really good Wave 6 start, you know? Not everyone's dead right away, which is actually much more rare than you think. I mean, most players don't even know that the resistance tab exists, so the fact that, like, no one's dead yet is pretty astounding. Funnily enough, though, this is the quote-unquote easy part of the wave. This is the part where they're just like, okay, did you get resistances? Can you hit M1 at the robots? That's what this, like, entire start of the wave is supposed to check. It will get much harder. I actually end up dying here, mostly because the pyros reflected my rockets at me. But man, this goes to show, even with full resistances, even though I am a god gamer, this wave can still take you out if you're not you know, if you're not on top of your game. It's pretty it's a really nice challenging wave. I think this might be the hardest wave in MvM, maybe. I'm not sure. I have played all of the tours and all of the missions, and in terms of just pure wave difficulty, I think it might be the hardest. I think the upgrades that you can get, like, you basically have infinite money at this point, so it kind of balances out, but this might be the hardest wave. In my experience, it's what I would pick. I don't think many would argue with that. Interestingly enough, this is not the most popular MvM tour. It's actually quite the opposite. The most popular is easily Two Cities, which I just really don't like. I think Two Cities is so... it's kind of lame, if I can use that word. Mostly because of the people that play it. There are a lot of like people who treat TF2 as like or MvM as like a job, and you will find a lot of those people in Two Cities. Like if you have 6 friends, it's great, but if you don't, my goodness, you will encounter a lot of obnoxious people. Thank God. I was worried about the giant heavy medic pairs, but thank God our medic. He was a real bro, coming to crit me with against the giants. He's a real fun guy. Here I decided to do some 5s to the tank because it takes a little bit for the next giant pair to come out. And also, while the giants are coming out, there's also super scouts, which makes it even scarier. I have been burned by these guys more than once. Our medic, thankfully, is just uber-sawing them without a care in the world. I'm calling out medic because I really want help with these giants. I think he's more concerned with the tank right now, that and he doesn't have crits, but then he does come along with me, so never mind what I just said. And I kind of need it too. I don't think I would be able to kill all these guys without these crits. I could use crit canteens, but I think ammo is a little bit more important, and again, like I said earlier, crit canteens make the game a little bit too easy. I do end up popping the medic, and as you can see, I just can't kill him. He's at full health right now, and he's going to stay at full health until this Uber is over. Thankfully, it does run out fairly quickly, and that could have been really bad, but it's not too awful. Our medic almost dies there. Thankfully, the super scouts are distracted by me instead of the medic. And then we can go and finish off the giant heavy medic pair real quick. One good thing about the heavies is that they're very narrow focused. If you have like 3 people attacking a giant heavy, he can only hit one of you at a time. He's pretty slow at switching targets. So, you really don't, if you just use teamwork, you can deal with them pretty easily. Here's another part of Big Rock I really like. This tunnel is such a huge choke point. You can just look down this tunnel and tap M1 and you will be dealing a lot of damage. Like, it's a really fun just part to defend of the map. There are no super scouts left, I believe, so now I can just focus on clicking the button. And from here, things are pretty much done. The giant soldiers are not really a threat, and the tank definitely is damaged enough where I don't have to worry about deploying the bomb. So yeah, I would say at this point the way is pretty much a guaranteed win. It's basically over. Good job, everyone. Good job. So, that's pretty much it for this mission. Wave 7 is another boss wave, so it is pretty easy. But overall, I had a really fun time. I played this game like 300 times, maybe 250, I don't know. I lost count. But I still have fun every time. I like it quite a lot. I'm just picking off some snipers, I'm just jumping around, I'm just having fun. Oh man. There had been a few times where they've killed all the robots and then the tank just like barely gets to the hatch and blows us all up, which is always so depressing, but thankfully it doesn't happen here. Alright, good. My damage is like 1,000 short of 200k, which is super good. Those are some really good numbers for me. Very, very, very good stuff. Good job, Brandon. Good job. And then here we have the boss, which is another, again, a really easy guy to cheese. You can see some people switching to heavy just because they know. Here I'm just looking at my spray and my sign, just to show off, being really like, all right, this is the end. Let's just remember the good things. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this commentary. I hope you like the gameplay. Maybe I've sparked your interest in MvM. If you want to play it, then good luck. There are a lot of rat bastards that make it hard to play, but maybe you'll get lucky. You can play this game. You don't have to pay to play this, by the way. I'm just doing the paid mode because it's way more consistent in terms of the servers and the people. But you can just play this game for free. TF2 is free, MvM is free. Provided you can find the servers for it, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend getting some friends, giving it a shot. It's probably the best wave defense game that I know of that isn't like a tower defense game. I'd recommend it. I hope you give it a shot if you're interested. If not, then that is absolutely fine too. Real quick, before this wave ends, I think I want to talk about the rewards you get for playing the paid version of the game. So I never really explained it, but an MvM ticket, you need a ticket to play the paid version, 3 tickets for a tour. So that's about, let's say, 130 times 3. That's roughly, you know, $3.90, $4 about. And so it's like most of the time you're gonna get a silver bot killer when you finish all 3 missions. When you complete a tour, you get a reward, and the reward is either a silver bot killer, which is worth like, you know, anywhere from 40 to like 80 cents, pretty useless. A gold bot killer, which I think is like a 1 in 10 chance, maybe. It's a lot rarer than that, I think, but that's what I've heard. And that's probably about, you know, maybe $4, maybe $5. If you're lucky, could be $3. Really, again, not worth it. But then you have, I want to say it's like a 1% chance. I'm not sure, but it feels like a 1% chance to get an Australium, which are, you know, generally worth anywhere from $30 to like $120, something crazy like that. And that's what you want to get. That's the big prize. I don't get it here, unfortunately, but I don't really mind. Like I said before, I play this game for the fun and not for the rewards. I have gotten a few Australiums in my time. I've gotten an Australium Tomislav, Australium Knives, Australium Black Box. I haven't gotten any of the big ticket items, you know. I haven't gotten any golden frying pans, which are like a 1 in 10,000, God knows. But, you know, that's it. We got our rewards. We had our fun time. Now I just gotta think of a funny joke to end on. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So a cat goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "What seems to be the problem?" And then the cat says, "Meow." And the doctor says, "I know you, owl, but where?" Okay. Thanks for watching.